all know, Disney has been around for over 100 years. Well, actually more like 102 years, but that doesn't matter. And you guys have been requesting me to do Disney for a while, so here it is. Alright, so here are the rules that are gonna go out. Rule 1. As we all know, Disney has not only created its own movies, but it's also created its TV shows, short films, and the direct-to-video sequels, which most of them are pretty bad. I'm only going to accept the couples from Walt Disney Animation Studios and the animated couples from Disney channels. So yeah, no Mickey and Minnie, and no Jack and Sally, no Zed and Addison. But you are going to see TV couples like Kim and Ron, Finnabella and Liberty, Ida and Rain. Rule 2. So yeah, I am going to involve the direct-to-video sequels and what the Walt Disney Animation couples expanded the relationship. Hey, some of them might have improved, some of them might not have turned out great. I mean, what can you expect of direct-to-video sequels, but that doesn't matter. However, if the couples that are introduced in the direct-to-video sequels, like Anastasia and that beggar guy from the second Cinderella movie, then you'll not see those type of couples in this ranking. Rule 3. So, unlike what I've been doing my other couples ranking, I'm going to focus on the couples that have at least 5 minutes of screen time. So, you're not going to see Disney's first on-screen gay couple, unlike Lumity. And you're not going to see Franny and Cornelius, aka Lewis from Meet the Robinsons. Rule 4. So, even though I said I'm going to allow the TV couples, you're not going to see Spring and Ivy and Cricket and Gabriella on this list because they only started their romantic journey as kids. Finnabella, on the other hand, they got together as teenagers thanks to the episode Act Your Age. So, yeah, Finnabella are the only kid couple on this list. So, sorry to the old Big City Green fans or the Infidia fans. Rule 5. So, I've said this before in my Sony ranking. Go watch it, you won't regret it. I will focus on the couples that are canon. So, pairs that get shipped a lot, like Nick and Junie or Raya and Amari, they're not going to be on this list. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Anyway, so I counted it was like 40 couples. So, geez, this is gonna be a long video. Anyway, so let's go through the tunnel of love, go see the lights, and save the world. Let's rank. In last place we have, what's their name again? There's no way I'm gonna remember their names. You know what? I'm just gonna call them Mr. and Mrs. Dinosaur from The Dinosaur. Yep, time to talk about that dinosaur movie that everybody hates. So, Mr. and Mrs. Dinosaur aren't toxic or unlikable or anything. It's just, like the movie itself, they're so boring and forgettable. I mean, they don't even bond over anything. Their chemistry is boring. The characters in the movie are boring. And then, boom! The relationship is proof that they got together, even though they only had 7 lines. I think the only thing I should call those two is boring and forgettable. For number 39, we have Pocahontas and John Smith from the most historically inaccurate movie, Pocahontas. I mean, come on! Should I say anything on why these two are so bad? I mean, it's so obvious. I mean, this is just a movie that Disney tried to make good to make history appealing to young kids. But when they go older, they realize that the most of the movie is wrong. 3 years later, DreamWorks has created The Prince of Egypt, and it was very historically accurate. Heck, a lot of people these days kept calling it as DreamWorks' best film. Also, fun fact, the night before I started recording this, I actually watched Prince of Egypt for the first time. And before y'all got confused when I was trying to rank Moses and Sephora, I've been watching clips of them, not the full movie. But yeah, and I can see why people really find it as the best film in DreamWorks history, but it is really, 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 really dark. I do not want to watch that movie again. Not because I'm not saying it's bad, it's just way too dark for me. Oh, and guess what? Meanwhile, a lot of people back then saw The Lion King as a joke film, meaning it was going to be a disaster. But jokes on them, it still holds up today, and it's still good. Also, Simba and Nala are way higher on the list. But seriously, this couple is so messed up. I mean, back in the history books, it was revealed that Pocahontas was a lot younger when John Smith came to town. And their chemistry and their bonding, it's just so boring. Oh, but look at this in the direct-to-video sequel. They realized that this took place in real time. So guess what? They broke up and Pocahontas got a new man. For number 38, we have Taran and Princess Lilongwe from The Black Cauldron. Okay, you know what? I take back on what I said about The Prince of Egypt. This movie is straight up dark. Also, I don't like these two. I mean, these two, they're just so toxic. I mean, Lilongwe is so annoying Taran keeps complaining about his dreams, and there is this one scene where he could have developed a character arc, but no, of course he has to remain the same. And of course, those two had a lot of fights, argument, and of course, Taran treats a long way like a tomato or something. I mean, it was sort of normal, like back in the medieval times or something, but I mean, come on, this is the modern day I'm talking about. For number 37, we have Bambi and Faline from Bambi. Okay, look, my biggest problem with these two is one of my reasons why I'm not a big fan of animal couples. Which is the reason because they fell in love because of Mother Nature. I mean, they're deer. They're basically meat to other people. And lions, probably, I don't know. I know they're not toxic or anything, but for some reason, I just felt bored when I kept watching clips of them. For number 36, we have Mulan and Shang from Mulan. Yep, bet you'll expect it to be these two so low on the list. But to be honest, when I was watching Mulan as a kid, I thought those two were already a couple, but it turns out that it wasn't officially official until y'all watched the second movie, which is really problematic. I mean, it's normal for couples to fight, but at least you don't see Shrek and Fiona fight a lot. I mean, for Mulan and Shang, they fight way too much. Like, way too much. Come on, do I have to put these two on the list? Can I just skip them? No. Alright, I think these two sort of count. Alright, for number 35, we have Chicken Little and Abby from Chicken Little. Look, I don't want to talk about Chicken Little. I mean, I know it has one of the worst father-son relationships in cinema history, but also, not to mention the fact that it also has one of the most rushed, uncomfortable, and forced relationships in the movie. Fun fact, there is also supposed to be a sequel for Chicken Little, and it was about Chicken Little facing a love triangle between Abby and another girl, but it got canceled due to the movie having mixed reviews. But I don't want to continue talking about these two, and I don't want to continue talking about this movie. For number 34, we have King Magnifico and Queen Amaya from Wish. Wait a minute! Wish and a couple drinking? That's illegal! Look, I wasn't the only one who hoped that Wish would have a romance, and we all knew that it didn't. But even though it doesn't have a love story like Asha and Starboy, we can't forget that it also has a couple, which is Queen Amaya and King Magnifico. So, yeah, we all knew what happened in Wish since it's one of the most mid-movies created by Disney, yeah. So, Magnifico becomes evil thanks to a book, and Amaya was, like, completely done with him at the end. So, yeah, that's basically it. For number 33, we have Esmeralda and Phoebus from The Hunchback of Notre Dame. So if people like this couple in the first movie, I can actually see why, because they were the whole two people that are good and want to save them. But to me, it's just their relationship forced and rushed and undeveloped, and I'm sorry. And why are they in this list to all of you Esmeralda and Phoebus stans? Of course! The sequel! That's why! So remember in the first movie when Phoebus is a good person and only judges others by their actions, not their looks? Well, not in this movie, he didn't! He was all like, I don't trust these people. And Esmeralda can get ticked off by that as well. I mean, girl, why are you even with that man? You know what? Can somebody pass me the divorce papers? I think I need to give these two to both Esmeralda and Phoebus and the Blights. For number 32, we have Tambry and Robbie from Gravity Falls. So to those of you guys who are confused on why these two are so low is because the love potion trope is my least favorite trope. But that doesn't mean I hate Star and Marco. But when it comes to love potions, these two can tend to be, a mess. And we don't even see a lot of their screen time in the rest of the show. But hey, they have at least 5 minutes of screen time, so they count. For number 31, we have Ferb and Vanessa from Phineas and Ferb. Look, I'm sorry to all y'all Verbanessa fans, but to anybody who hasn't noticed, well, let me tell ya. So my biggest problem with these two is that Ferb is a kid until actor age, and then Vanessa is way older than him. I'm not gonna cover their ages until the age gap, but for now, I just have a very strong theory that Vanessa is a groomer. For number 30, we have our first Disney couple, Snow White and Florian from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Yes, our very first okay couple is the very first one. Look, I can't have any hate on this couple. I mean, true, they only have few scenes together, and some of us might have a few strong feelings that they might break up soon. And also the fact that Florian kisses her course because he wants to, I guess. But hey, I can't hate it because it was the couple that started all of Disney romance. Also, before y'all keep saying that Snow White is 14 and Florian is 31, look it up again. Because the last time I did, it actually proves that Florian is actually 18. So the first Disney romance is actually very legal. Well, not very, even though it reached its limit, though. For number 29, we have Dr. Doctor and Captain Amelia from Treasure Planet. I don't know what to say about these two, except for the fact that these were like a pre-version of Tiana and Naveen, but they were okay. I mean, they didn't feel rushed to me, and the relationship took some time over the years. For number 28, we have easily one of the most messy ships on Disney Channel, and that is Star and Marco from Star vs. the Forces of Evil. Let's just say I have mixed feelings for these two. I mean, I used to ship them when I was a kid, but when I got older, I started to regret that and not regret that at the same time. I mean, they seem cute together, and when they're as friends, they turn out great, but when things turn out romantic, it gets a little messy. Not to mention, there's also the whole Blood Moon Ball thing. It was confusing if that really was a love potion. And even though the love potion trope is my least favorite, that doesn't mean I hate these two. But what saves these two from being in the worst section is that in the last episode, Margot wanted to stay with Dar, even that means dying together. But hey, let's just hope that in the future, they'll be stable. For number 27, we have Jake Long and Rose from American Dragon Jake Long. So, even though those two are also okay in my books, they sort of give an Armyle dynamic, but instead of being friends for a long time, instead they don't even realize it, they just see each other as enemies until they figure it out. Swap it up, and then you get Jake and Rose. And yeah, they even sort of have a Sutara dynamic, but I still find these two okay, and similar to another couple higher on this list. For number 26, we have, oh my goodness, why am I so forgetful? What were their names again? Alright, their name is, yeah, oh my god. There's no way I'm gonna remember their names. Really? There's no way, right. You know what, I'm gonna let text say it for me, thank you very much. So, I honestly don't know what to say about these two since there's only a background couple, but they have like 5 minutes of screen time at least. Wait, no, they have like 20 minutes of screen time. Yes, that. But yeah, I think the only thing I can like about them is the whole playful banterns and how they first met. For number 25, we have Scrooge and Goldie from DuckTales. No, not that DuckTales, this DuckTales. Thank you very much. If I have to describe these two, I say they have a Batman and Catwoman dynamic. Except in that one episode when those two regained their youth, Goldie decided that they wanted to remake of what they did in the past, and she also sacrificed her youth to save Scrooge. For number 24, we have Felix and Calhoun from Wreck-It Ralph. To be honest, I kind of almost forgot about these two on the list, and even though Wreck-It Ralph is an iconic movie, these two tend to be, not very memorable at times, but their chemistry is fine, their romance is fine. I think they're just like a 100% okay couple, but I just have one question about them. How are they able to raise the kids so perfectly? Seriously, I think I need parenting advice if I might become a parent in the future. For number 23, we have Todd and Vixie from Fox and the Hound. Todd and Vixie are just Bambi and Feline, but a tiny bit better. I mean, true, they sort of fell in love because of Mother Nature, but I like it when Todd tries to impress her for a bit, which is very human-like. For number 22, we have, what were their names again? Oh, finally, two names I can remember. Okay, for number 22, we have Bernard and Bianca from The Rescuers. Finally, a couple name I can remember. Bernard and Bianca was another couple I didn't feel a lot of emotion of, but somewhat I can actually like at the same time. I mean, I like it when Bianca helps Bernard get out of his comfort zone, and that Bernard supports her through and through, but my biggest problem with these two is what they've been going through in the second movie. And no, it's not Bernard focusing on proposing to Bianca, which is similar to another couple in the top 20. It's actually the fact that Bianca has actually been going through a love triangle, which is another one of my least favorite tropes. But I don't hate Cora and Asami, but I do hate Cora and Malco as a couple. Do you guys want me to do a Nickelodeon couples ranking? Remind me that later on in the future. But seriously, I don't like this guy. It's just, I don't like him for somewhat, probably no reason at all. No, 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 no. Why are these two so low? Can I just put these two in the top 10? No. Can I just ignore the equals? No. Oh man, a lot of you guys are going to hate me for this, but for number 21 in the OK section is gonna go to Belle and Beast from Beauty and the Beast. I know. A lot of you guys saw these two as one of the best Disney romances in Disney history. And so did I, because I love the OG Beauty and the Beast. But not only that is one of Disney's best film, but it's also really charming and magical. I mean, true, I haven't been watching these two growing up, but I actually supported them through and through. I mean, Beauty and the Beast is such a beautiful song. All of those scenes of those two were beautiful. Well, except for their first meeting and Belle getting in the West Wing and all. But come on, I mean, these two are so cute. I mean, they were so awesome. I couldn't get over them. Until the midquels, however. Why do these midquels even exist? I mean, they had no right to mess up a perfect couple, but they sure did it anyway. I mean, Disney, how could you? Now you'll see why these two are in this so okay section. I mean, those two midquels perfectly messed up, those two. I mean, true, in Enchantment Christmas, you can argue that Beast was being controlled by Tim Curry, so I'll give it the benefit for that chance in that movie. But what about in Belle's Magical World? I mean, that's probably one of the worst midquels I have ever seen in my gosh darn life. But hey, due to their good relationship in the first movie and their bad relationship in the two midquels, they sort of balanced it out from an okay, so at least they're not in the worst section, they're just higher in the okay section, and I really hate it. Seriously, I am really upset as you guys. I mean, why did I include this rule in my list? Heck, those two might have made it in the top 10 and all, but thanks to my rules, I gotta follow it. For number 20, we have Pongo and Perdita from 101 Dalmatians. So I'm gonna be honest, these two aren't really romantic in my book. I just put them in the truly good section because I call them really good parents, and they're really sweet ones. But even though in the sequel they sort of left one of their kids behind, they sort of sacrificed all of that for that pup. So they may not have a lot of romance, but good parents. Does it feel weird that I should say the name twice? Okay, so for number 19, we have Lady and the Tramp from Lady and the Tramp. Okay, yeah, that definitely sounded weird. We all know the classic love story of Lady and the Tramp. I mean, we see two cute puppies who spend a spaghetti dinner together, even though they had a fight. I still find them pretty cute. I mean, even though they are cute to me, I didn't feel a lot of emotion except in that spaghetti scene, which is the best and has been used in a few romantic scenes in other movies or shows today. And not to mention that other girlfriend Tramp has dated, so I like them, but I just don't love them. You guys get what I'm saying? I am really confused. Why are they in the truly good section? Okay, that actually makes a lot of sense. Okay, so for number 18, we have Philip and Aurora from Sleeping Beauty. So I was originally going to put these two in the okay section, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized that Philip actually stopped a dragon for Aurora. Plus, he has a character, and he's actually a really likable guy. And not to mention Aurora as well, even though she is more of a side character, even though she's a successful Disney princess, but that doesn't matter. So yeah, true, like with Cinderella and her prince in the first Cinderella movie, and Snow White and Florian, they had a few things together, they fell in love, they're a Disney couple, yeah, you get the gist of it. It's a fairy tale romance, but I already talked about this. Philip stopped a dragon, aka Maleficent, for Aurora, so that puts these two in the truly good section. For number 17, we have Duchess and Thomas from the Aristocats. Duchess and Thomas are a 100% good couple in my book. I mean, true, they are still the same feeling of how I felt around Lady and Tramp. I just didn't feel a lot of emotion on them. But I liked how they met, the whole everybody wants to be a cat, and then those two just staring at the moonlight. But I think it's better of how many times Thomas saved Marie from getting into trouble. I think he might be a good dad in the future. For number 16, we have another couple from Phineas and Ferb, where one had over an hour of screen time, and that is Candace and Jeremy. So when I was watching Phineas and Ferb for the first time, I kind of saw Candace and Jeremy as a gag romance, but when I was growing up, I realized that those two actually have a healthy relationship more than Finabella and Fabronessa, which one of them I'll talk about later on in the video. But seriously, whenever Candace realizes that she wants to bust her brothers, Jeremy was all, "Yep, that's my girl, alright," which just means that he's actually really patient and supports Candace on what she's doing. However, my biggest problem with these two is that when I was watching Act Your Age, I noticed that when you see Candace, you don't see Jeremy in the future either. Like, did they broke up? Did Jeremy die due to one of Phineas and Ferb's inventions or something? For number 15, we have Tiana and Naveen from The Princess and the Frog. Tiana and Naveen are a perfect example of opposites attract, with Tiana being the hardworking one and Naveen being the whole carefree one, like enjoying the whole music kind of guy. And not to mention the dance they had later on in the movie is just so good. It was so gosh darn good! My only problem with them is that I didn't feel a lot of emotion between the two, so like with the other couples I talked before, I like them, I just don't love them. For number 14, we have Anna and Kristoff from the Frozen trilogy. Anna and Kristoff are a really cute couple, and true, we don't see them bond a lot, but I can't blame Anna for liking Kristoff because he's a nice guy. I mean, I've befriended nice guys and dated one nice guy before. Should I do storytime animation in the future? If yes, then I'll talk about that in a future video. But seriously, I literally cannot blame her. I mean, true, they bonded for a little, and their relationship was sort of a mess in the sequel. I mean, even though in the sequel was sort of like Bernard and Bianca, it was still sort of sweet, plus the whole I prefer you in leather kind of banter. It was still really cute, and I really love these two. I mean, even though Anna and Elsa are the most iconic relationship in Frozen, I prefer these two, because, come on, I can't blame a girl who's really into romance. For number 13, we have another underrated couple, Milo and Kida from Atlantis: The Lost Empire. Milo and Kida is just Pocahontas and John Smith done right. They even had cute scenes together, like Milo called Kida a pretty girl and then ended up having an awkward sentence. And he didn't even look down on her in the sequel, which is a good thing. Which is similar to another couple, except in the sequel, and I'm gonna talk about them in the top 10 later in this video. Also, fun fact, Kida's name is also the name where I got Content Kira, except I decided to replace the D with an R instead of Content Kida to make it get Content Kira, so make it sound different. But I didn't realize it also sounded like the same name as Light's big name in Death Note! But as cute Milo and Kida can be, there is one big problem and flaw that keeps coming into my head, and it was the fact that Kida is 8,800 years old, dating someone in his 20s, which is weird, but somewhat normal since she's around the body of an adult, making her immortal. I think it's similar to someone who ships someone with a vampire. Like I said in my Sony Age Gap video, a ship isn't illegal when someone is dating a vampire. So the same thing kind of goes for Kida. For number 12, we have our first queer couple, well, not the first to appear on screen, is Ida and Rain from the Owl House. If you put Jake and Rose, Simba and Nala, and Cachadora into a blender, you probably get Ida and Rain, because, come on, am I the only one who was able to notice that these relationships were similar to these two? No, am not. But seriously, I really loved their first meeting. It was really cute. And I really like that those two were just both outcasts who ended up becoming really close friends. It's just really cute. Not to mention those two playing a lot of music together, it's just so good. It's so good. My only problem with them is that I was really upset that those two broke up. And it's just unlike the other couples I've talked about before. Not to mention the fact that Ida didn't trust Rain to tell her about her curse, which is really problematic. And not to mention that Rain joined the Emperor's Coven, but it was actually just to protect her. Not to mention that Rain wanted to sacrifice their life for Ida, just because even though she ended up breaking her hand, those two were able to reunite again months later. For number 11, we have another, but the final couple we're going to talk about from Phineas and Ferb, and that is one of the most iconic, Phineas and Isabella. I bet it might have been the pain for the Finabella Gibbers to keep waiting and waiting until the episode Act Your Age to see Finabella get together. But seriously, I can see why people really like those two. And when I just saw the hard eyes from episode 1 on Isabella, I immediately started shipping them. Not to mention that they helped each other out through and through, like Isabella helping out Phineas for his inventions with Ferb, and Phineas giving Isabella some ice cream. You know, back when Isabella was in bed, sick. However, they ended in the top 10 because 1, Phineas has not realized that she actually liked him until Act Your Age, and 2, the other 10 couples in the top 10 just felt worth putting there. Finally, we're in the top 10. Didn't expect to be that many. Wait, what? Oh, yes! Perfect! For number 10, we have one of the last of Walt Disney's classic romance, and that is Cinderella and Prince Charming from the 3 Cinderella movies. I know, you guys thought they were going to be in the okay or the truly good section. Well, not to me, because, well, true, in the first movie, they only spent a few scenes together, and the prince not having a character in that movie, and it's a classic fairy tale romance. But in the sequel, he's actually worse. Like, the heck, Disney? And the reason why I'm saying that is because he isn't even there for the rest of the second movie. Well, true, I think the only thing I can say about those two is that the Prince Charming said, well, I'm glad that it did things your way. Which is a healthy line. Speaking of which, we have the third movie. Oh yeah, time to talk about Twist in Time, baby. But seriously, the writers of Twist in Time did not have to go that hard. I mean, seriously, they should have made the prince back to a boring old piece of wood that didn't have any character, even though he only had some plot relevance. But no, he gave them a personality, a character. And I know you guys are going to say that Prince Charming and Cinderella might end up breaking up after the third movie, but if you look at the beginning of the third movie, then it just might be on the repeat. Well, except for Lady Tremaine not being there. But seriously, they had the right amount of healthiness to be one of Walt Disney's best Disney princess romance. For number 9, we have Molly and Ollie from The Ghost of Molly McGee. So we all have heard the dynamic opposites attract, but what about when those two opposites are actually very similar to each other? This comes to Molly and Ollie, and I gotta admit, these two are actually really adorable and cute, and give a sort of the Puss and Kitty soft paws dynamic, because Ollie quits becoming a ghost hunter and decided to trust both Molly and Scratch, making their relationship even better. And I feel like you guys are going to tell me that Molly and Ollie aren't canon, but have you guys seen the last few episodes? Because I ended up watching a short, and I looked it up, and it was proved that Molly and Ollie are official. But I really like these two, and they're really cute and adorable, but it doesn't beat Lumity, which is later in the list. I feel like you guys are going to tell me I didn't put in Hunter and Willow, but guys, Dana Terrence did not confirm that Hunter and Willow were canon. For number 8, we have Hercules and Megara from Hercules. I know that Hercules is another movie that isn't historically accurate, but this is based on Greek mythology, so isn't full-on real, even though they sort of changed some of the story. But at least they made it entertaining, with Hades being an interesting villain. Or even better, Herc and Meg. Seriously, a lot of their scenes is just so good. I mean, Meg wanting to sacrifice her life for Hercules, and not to mention, I Won't Say I'm in Love. Seriously, that song is straight up underrated. However, this is just a theory, but I also felt like that there is also another K-pop Demon Hunter parallel in Hercules, except it was to Herc and Meg and Rujidu, because it was the fact that the love interest was lurking for the bad guy, but later on, near the end of the movie, they betrayed the bad guy with a sacrifice. Except one of them didn't end up getting together, unfortunately. For number 7, we have Ariel and Eric from The Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid was my favorite movie growing up, and Ariel and Eric was probably one of my favorite forbidden love stories growing up as well. Seriously, there's everything to love about these two. I mean, there's the song Kiss the Girl, the dance they had, Eric showing Ariel around. I mean, it's so good. It's so good! I think the forbidden love trope has to be one of my favorite tropes of all time, along with the enemies to lovers, because I really love these two, like how much I love Jack and Rose. I don't have a lot to say about these two in the sequel since they don't have a lot of screen time in there, but hey, at least the relationship is still stable, and they actually have a happily ever after, and a daughter! For number 6, we have Tarzan and Jane from Tarzan. I gotta admit, Tarzan and Jane is one of the most underrated couples I have seen on Disney history. I mean, seriously, even though the movie is sort of underrated, these two do not get the credit they deserve because all their scenes just so good. I mean, I really love their first meeting, and no, I'm not talking about the one with the monkeys. I'm talking about the ones with the hands. It's just so beautiful. I can't even ignore it. And not to mention that Jane literally stays for Tarzan, and they're actually a stable couple, and Tarzan is a very good husband in the TV show, which I could not find because it's not on Disney Plus, for heck's sake. But there were clips of it. For number 5, we have Aladdin and Jasmine from Aladdin. Another love story that was created peak by Disney in the Renaissance era. I mean, Aladdin and Jasmine are just perfect. Well, I'm not perfect. I mean, there was Aladdin lying to Jasmine in the first and second and probably the third movie. And I don't know about the TV show. Again, it wasn't on Disney Plus. Like with Astrid, she's the most supporting girlfriend you could ever ask for. Not to mention their love songs as well. I mean, there was Part of Your World, which was so beautiful and iconic, and there was Desert Moon, and I know that it was a deleted song from the live-action remake, but I wish it was in both movies that time, because even that song was so good. For number 4, we have Simba and Nala from The Lion King. So here's my opinion on animal couples. Usually it kind of depends on the wild animals because when it comes to cat and dog couples, then I don't really mind them. But when it comes to Bambi and Feline, it bothers me. And same thing with the ant couples like Z and Princess Bala and the other Pixar couple, and I completely forgot their names. Why am I so forgetful? But when it comes to couples like Melman and Gloria and or Simba and Nala, then those are the type of animal couples I 100% approve. But seriously, I really loved their friendship as kids, which was really adorable and cute, and them reuniting as adults was so good, and then Can You Feel the Love Tonight? It's just, you can't even ignore the song. Heck, a lot of people kept calling it one of Disney's best love songs of all time. I think, even to all love songs in cinema history. I don't know. And I know that Simba and Nala did have a talk, which is actually sort of a fight, when they talked about Simba coming back home, about his past, and when he didn't tell Nala about it until later on at the end of the movie. But later on, he does realize that he accepts for what he is, and then they turn out to be a really great couple at the end. They actually became a really good couple in the second movie, and The Lion Guard as well. I mean, I could only tell because of the whole Lion Guard fans, even though I'm not watching the show, because it's a Disney Junior movie, which is not my kind of TV show. From the bronze medal, it's gonna upset some more most of you, but it's actually gonna go to Rapunzel and Eugene from Tangled. To most of you guys who picked Eugene though in the poll I set up a few days ago, or maybe I don't know how many days ago, I mean I just recorded this, and I am really sorry for you guys because I was actually going to put these two as number 1 as well. I mean, when you look at the first movie, it's just so charming, beautiful, their first meeting was so funny, they talk about their dreams, they even talked about what they love, what they do as kids, which is something they have in common. Then the dance they had at the castle, and there was I See the Light, which is such a beautiful moment. And not to mention, there was Rapunzel healing Eugene, and Eugene sacrificing himself to save Rapunzel. It was so good, and it was so good, really good. I mean, seriously, like with Hextrid, they were there for each other, like, from the first movie, to the short film, and to that TV series as well. Also, like with Race to the Edge, Tangled series is actually really good, so I'm not going to spoil anything this time, and I'm not going to go through every moment of them. I mean, it was 60 episodes, and when it comes to Hickstrid, there was just a compilation of them, but seriously, they're peak, they're perfect, they were the cream of the crop. Until you discover their age. This is the main reason why these two are getting the bronze medal of Disney Romance, because in the first movie, Rapunzel was 18, but in the TV show in season 3, Eugene was 26 years old. So, as we all know, the show took place in 3 years, so minus 26 by 3, we get 23 years old, making their relationship a 5-year age gap, making it way past the limit on how old these two were supposed to date each other. But at least they weren't exactly legal, because Frederick sort of knew Eugene's age at the party, and he didn't sentence him to life in prison or anything. So these two were sort of legal, I guess. So they might not be the best in Disney romance, but at least they're the best in Walt Disney Animation romance. Plus the other two just felt worth putting there. For number 2, we have easily one of the most popular ships on Disney Channel, and another one of my favorite gay couples is Luz and Amity from the Owl House. As we all know, these two are really adorable together. As we all know with the whole enemies to lovers trope, these two are really iconic and memorable all at the same time. Not to mention that Luz became a light in Amity's life, making Amity able to stand up to her mother for how she's treated her, and actually, got to mention, Olivia, or what's her name? I'm just gonna call her Miss Abusive. She's actually giving Shadow Weaver. Like, what the heck, man? We also can't forget about the fact that Amity was also able to stand up to her mother again to protect Luz from her wrath. Like, okay, now that is the best girlfriend you guys will want to have. And as for Luz's perspective, she was able to see the change in Amity from changing her from a full-on bully to a very iconic girlfriend, which is leading to this scene. Well, even though they weren't together back then, this scene was so iconic, none of us could forget it. Wait a minute, hold on. The enemies to lovers trope, a love interest being mentally abused, and an iconic LGBT dance scene? That kind of reminds me of another couple. And doesn't matter. However, as sweet, adorable, and iconic Lumity can be, a lot of fans felt like there was one flaw in the relationship, and it was the fact that Luz kept lying to Amity throughout the later half of Season 2 and most of Season 3. When Luz says that she wanted to stay in the human realm permanently, it left a lot of fans confused on what might affect Lumity. And many fans felt like Amity will be focused on Luz's needs, neglecting her own and her other friends, but even though these are really, not memorable but noticeable flaws, I feel like they aren't impossible to fix. Also, like Cachadora, we get to see Luz and Amity have a future together, making the relationship stable. But as much as I love Lumity, Cachadora is still my number 1 favorite gay couple. Go ahead, fight me, I do not care. For the gold medal of Disney Romance and Disney Channel Romance, well, even though one of you guys sort of expected this to happen, is actually going to go to Kim and Ron from Kim Possible. Yeah, true, Lumity, Eugene, Zolf, Annabella, and Jolene are iconic in their own way as well, but we can't forget about the fact that fans literally fought for Kim Possible to have a 4th season just so that they can see Kim and Ron on screen. Plus, Kim and Ron had something what Hickstrid and Cachadora did and what Lumity and Eugenzel did not have. And it was the fact that they knew each other when they were kids. So we all know the cute, iconic story of Kim and Ron. They were always by each other's sides as kids and as heroes as well. And I know those two even had a few love interests here and there, but those two were the main love interests to each other. And they can tell. And we can tell as well. And there were other signs that the directors of the show planned to get Kim and Ron together, with Kim having the whole green-eyed jealousy and all. And one of Dragon's creations with the whole mood changes on Kim, mistaking their relationship and causing their first kiss, which isn't the real first kiss, but I'm going to talk about that later on. And Kim and Ron would go to Bueno Noches together, just with Kim and Ron, which That actually kind of felt weird to say one of my things, but that doesn't matter. And the relationship has gone from platonic childhood friends to romantic love interest in the Soda Drama movie. Not only was Ron able to help Kim to stand up to Drac after being heartbroken, but was able to confess his feelings for her. After stopping Shigo and Drag, those two went to junior prom together, shared a dance, and got what we wanted. Their first real kiss. And after those two got together, the relationship got a lot better. Like in one of the first few episodes, Kim said that she would rather date an awkward, weird guy like Ron than a jock. And before Kim got sent to the stars, Ron said that he didn't want to slow her down, which shows boyfriend material. And when she was just about to go to the stars, he just wanted to feel her hand, her touch, one last time. Until he said, if Kim's lost in the stars, then I'm finding her. And then in the last final moment when Kim said, told you graduation was the end of the world, sharing a kiss, traveling into the future with Ron together. And before those two were able to celebrate their future together, Ron was able to save Kim, stop a monster in monkey style. Boy did it for love, baby. I feel like you guys might argue that it's Belle and the Beast or Rapunzel and Eugene if you don't look up their age and the direct-to-video sequels. But I feel like, to me, Kim and Ron are the cherry on top. And those two are the perfect example of what any kind of Disney romance should be. Anyway, guys, so this is basically the end of my couples ranking videos. Well, if you guys suggest me to do TV couples like Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon, but that doesn't matter. And after this and the age gap, I'm gonna go ahead and do a part 2 of my MHA reacts to their ships video. But seriously, that was a long video. Jeez. Oh my kidding. This video might have been over 40 minutes by now. But don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell, and comment on what you think about my opinion on the Disney couples and what your favorites are. Don't forget, we're doing a Q&A when we reach 100 subs. In the meantime, bye!